Hello, everybody. Well, I'm here with LJ Ruiz, and we are now back for another edition of What's Up Wrestling. This is a follow-up to our post Royal Rumble show, which was Saturday night.
Mhm.
We're trying to keep up with even what day it is. Well, at this point in time. Um, so, anyways, we just watched, and many of you, Monday Night Raw, the post Royal Rumble Raw. And we have a lot to discuss. I have to say, this was a really good Raw after a premium live event, unlike WrestleMania, which was such a horrible show. And
Yeah.
the other part of it I want to talk to you about, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with this entire Vince McMahon situation. But let's first discuss CM Punk. I mean, that is really the big story when it was first announced the other night, and following the stories through the day from the various reporters, I was like, is this a work or was he really hurt? It looked like he was really hurt in the ring.
So I was gonna say, did you notice anything about that, or did you not see it till we left or anything? Because we didn't talk about it, and I didn't see it because obviously being live. Once again, we always talk about the benefits of being live and the benefits of being on TV. Supposedly everybody saw he was hurt as the Rumble was going on, and I didn't see
I
anything because I was so
I
far.
I saw a moment where it looked like he was not moving much and he was in
Yeah,
the ring and the referees came to him. But mind you, my view was so obstructed, I wasn't sure
yeah.
what I was seeing.
Yeah, but I'm sure even if you were first row, you probably on TV, you probably noticed it's so much easier because then I watched the clip today and then he clearly grabs his tricep and literally rolls out of the ring basically
And
and
then the
talks to two referees.
referees, right.
Yeah.
What shocked me was that he continued the match, so that's why I was
And,
like,
we're over here saying he looked gassed and now I feel bad because he has a freaking torn tricep and he actually did really well knowing he tore his
he did
tricep.
him knowing that. I can't
Yeah, yeah,
believe it. But
yeah.
he got a DDT from who? Was it
From
Drew?
Drew and then he landed right on his elbow and then
Oh
right
yeah.
after he grabbed it immediately.
I thought, and what I read originally, I saw him grab so I thought it was an elbow injury. This is even worse
Some
because
people thought that it was he separated his shoulder and then popped it back in and then was fine, but this was 10 times worse. And it just sucked. It really
I
does.
literally
So
can't. But there's so much to talk about. I was like,
my cursed sweat my sweater is cursed.
I didn't wear it because I was afraid if I wore it, more would happen to him. Um, I I was afraid at first. I'm like, is this a work? Because
Yeah,
are they going to make it Cody? He lost to Cody, and he's going to bop Cody over. He's going to turn heel, and
yeah,
then it was like, oh my god. Then he comes out tonight, Luis. I have to tell you, and I, you know, watch soap operas and have been involved in wrestling in and out for decades. CM Punk's promo talking to the audience was amazing. It really was amazing. I
yeah.
mean, how he roped it all around to the cancer, his friend with cancer, how he like the whole thing. And when he talks, it's like seamless. Like you never
Well, the
feel
one thing you can definitely tell, and because I follow these reporters that
right, of course. Yeah.
like to talk about like plans of Raw and stuff, and CM Punk never has like producers for his promos because you can tell that it's just all they let him go out there and just say what he wants to say. And today proves that he can really he can work anything he wants to work. He can be a heel, he can be a face. And then today was, kind of his way of telling everybody his message today was telling everybody it's not that bad, compared to what some of these other people are going through. And it was awesome to watch. I mean, I would assume those tears were real and not him just acting because it came out so naturally and it
And
was
that's the
great.
thing. That's the thing. It just was like it was so natural and felt so real. I felt so bad, you know, and then it really, when you think about all of our conversations from Punk being in AEW, I have watched all of his injury. This is incredibly horrible.
Yeah,
It,
it really
is
does suck.
really horrible in so many ways.
I personally think this is the worst one, not even close, because one, like he's talked about, and it is this guy has been he carried WWE for a long time, was there for a long time, did everything he had to do, never got to WrestleMania, main event WrestleMania, leaves for 10 years, comes back. Luckily, around the time WrestleMania is going to be there, and he's most likely going to main event WrestleMania, and now he can't do it again. It's definitely, I think it's the worst one that he's ever had. It's just awful timing because it does throw. I'm sure they're scrambling right now. I'm sure it does throw a lot in their plans. They have to change a lot. And the one thing I'll say is that we were joking around about it, but like, you think there's any like, what if Punk was supposed to win the Rumble and that happens? You know what I mean? Like, then what do you do? Do you scrap it right there, or do you just have him win and then scrap it on Raw the next day? So I mean, they were saying on Twitter, Cody Rhodes winning might have been the best decision they made in a long time, knowing he got hurt. Because imagine they were like, no, Punk's winning, and then he gets hurt. I wonder if they would. I really do wonder if they would have scrapped it right there in the ring.
Is this the same tricep?
No, it's the other tricep. It's the left one. I mean, the right one. The tricep was the left one in Raw.
My God, I wasn't sure of that. And
Yeah,
the thing
yeah,
that really bothered me, I'm not making, I just want to say, I have had 3 shoulder surgeries now. And once you tear one, once you can tear it again. Like they're never the same.
yeah.
So in short order, within a 5-year span, I've had 3 shoulder surgeries
Same
because
shoulder.
two in
Yeah,
my
just then you
right and
overcompensate for
my
the other
left
one, and then
because the
yeah,
tent is just never, yeah, and then
yeah,
my bicep reattached.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I feel Punk. You don't understand. Like I feel it so much with him.
And it
I know
really,
what it's like. My point is, I feel so bad because I know what it's like to go through 9 months of rehabbing a surgery, hurting yourself right away again, going through
yeah,
another surgery, and always having that hope that okay, I've gotten past it. I'm on my way.
yeah.
And
And
I just
it sucks
felt
because I really don't understand. I really don't know what it's not obviously I don't think he's gonna retire and he's gonna come back, but I mean it just shows you that he really isn't the same. He's older, and he got hurt 3 times in AEW, and now right away, first match back, he gets hurt, which is it's definitely not a good look. I mean,
I just have this is what my feeling is. You know how Adam Cole has been limping around on the other one? I'm
yeah,
just feeling that Punk will be around. I don't think it's going to be like he's taken off TV. I think he still may be around. I think he still could interfere in WrestleMania. I think he still could screw up Drew McIntyre or
yeah,
whatever. I
I
don't
think
think this
that's
is. I don't.
definitely
I,
the
yeah.
smartest way to do it
Right.
because, like we talked about, and like people joked around, he had 2 returns in a matter of 6 months. He had the return at AEW Collision, and then got fired, and then he returned at uh Survivor Series. So I don't think we need another. I don't think we need him to go away for 6 months and then come back. It's not gonna, it's not worth it. Like I don't really think that's really needed. We haven't. I don't really think we've gotten the severity yet, like of how long he's gonna be out. Everybody's reporting different things. They're saying doctors are saying it's 3 to 4 months, which isn't terrible, but obviously it's past Mania. So I mean, I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get Punk probably around SummerSlam is when he'd probably be back
I
wrestling.
do too, and I think with this injury, he'll probably have the
I mean,
surgery
look at Rollins. Rollins is doing a feud while he's rehabbing.
around. Yeah. I
So, I mean, it's definitely possible, but I mean, it does suck because I personally think he should be involved in Mania at some point, like in
Maybe
some
he
way.
is. Maybe he will be. And the
I
other
think he
thing,
should do something.
or he'll
Just,
screw somebody up.
WrestleMania, you have to get him out there. I mean, unless I don't know. I was very surprised he took that hit today. For a second there, when Drew hit him, I was like, oh, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. But
That's what unfortunately,
yeah,
I'm having a little issue with that. I
yeah.
don't,
I just read that.
I'm wondering, is it really this bad?
Well, people are
Why
comparing it to when Cody fought
had
the
the
Hell in a Cell match because it just can't get any worse because it's torn. So I'm sure Punk was like, all right, I mean, because I think that's their way of writing him off is him beating him up. But then, like, it's true, and I thought the same thing. When people get hurt and it's legit and you're writing them off, you don't see them again after. They showed him walking backstage with Pierce, which I thought was a little weird. They don't usually do that. So I
No,
think maybe
I
maybe
don't know. I don't know. Like the what
he's definitely injured. He's definitely injured, but I definitely think that's their way of showing that he's going to be on TV, like you're saying. I think he's going to still be there. Maybe a special guest, referee or involved a host, or he gets to choose a stipulation
Just
for
seems
something.
weird to me. So they said to him, "Okay, Punk, we're gonna have you go out there, and then everything McIntyre is gonna come out, and you're gonna stomp all over your dress up." Would you want to do that? I just don't get that part. If it's truly
Yeah,
this thing. Now, Cody's, he was so ripped, it was so torn off, he was
yeah.
so busted. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's like there is that theory, like it's
But then
already
he's also like not even just Drew, not even as much as Drew stomping on that. Punk throws 3 elbows with the same arm that is injured, which I thought was a little weird because I think you're gonna throw. Yeah, I guess he could have thrown
So are
elbows.
we being really stupid again?
No, I don't think. I definitely think he's
Because I
hurt.
didn't get that. I could never, when my shoulders were torn and my bicep was ruptured, and and I can't lift a weight
But what
or
do they? My thing is that what do they get out of like if you had to think about the long term, what do they get out of faking a longer injury than it's supposed to be? Wouldn't they rather him be back earlier?
I would think, and then I'm thinking, well, maybe he's turning heel, but then after this thing tonight with Drew,
I think he's going away. I think he's definitely getting surgery. I think he's definitely injured, but I'm hoping it's not as bad as it is, and possibly we could be with him with his little angle they did with Drew. Maybe because he said, "Oh, WrestleMania is out of the cards," but he never, what I mean. He never said, "I'm not wrestling at WrestleMania." You know what I mean? It's just sounds like a bunch of up in the air bull crap. So I don't
we did
know
the
if
same thing with Seth, actually.
yeah,
So my other feeling was before this all happened, I was going to tell you my theory before this was that Cody beats Roman at WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman drops Roman like a hot potato
Punk.
and goes back to Punk and
Yeah,
becomes this vile heel
I
with
definitely think we're
Roman, and
getting
then they beat
Heyman and Punk
Rollins. That's
again.
what I think
Yeah,
they end up together, but that means Punk has to have a title for Heyman to be the
yeah. That's why I'm kind of hoping. So there's two things. As a fan, let's say for some reason we're getting worked, and it's not as I think he's injured, but not as bad as he is, and maybe they're
I'm
trying to
so
see.
worried. I'm so worried we're getting work
And so
because
maybe look at this. WrestleMania is almost it's basically 3 months away, is what it is at this point. Let's say for somehow he can maybe in my head, let's say they're trying to see how quick he can rehab, and if they're starting to get near Mania and he's starting to look a little bit better, he might be able to wrestle. Maybe they just my thinking is maybe they just throw him in one of the matches as a triple threat, like they did with Edge and Roman and Daniel Bryan, because that was super last minute. And maybe they just throw him in there for the match, and they're like, "All right, hey, let's do this real quick." Or he actually is injured, and what I would want personally is for him to miss Mania, but then I'd rather him win the Money in the Bank because we need someone that's credible to win the Money in the Bank next, and that's around when he'd be coming back. And I think that'd be really smart for him to win Money in the Bank because I at
I
this point
just
you need to speed up anything you're doing with him because he might get injured again. So you can't have him do these long. I just can't believe he got
I
hurt in
just
his
can't
match.
believe that. But what's really weird is of the two of the three times I've been at the shows.
I was just about to say you were there
I
again.
was at LA when he fucked up his, excuse me, when he messed up his leg. And
Yeah.
now this, I can't believe it. I, but what's really throwing me is like you deliver that kind of promo and you say that
And
heart-wrenching
you just go
touch
away.
and you're not really injured. If that's the truth, then I give CM Punk an Academy Award because he's that good. That's what
I that's why when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I genuinely do think those tears are like him, like, wow, I literally might never WrestleMania main event WrestleMania because I just can't stay healthy or
I can't imagine what it's like for this guy. I'm sure he's made a lot of money,
3 months away.
like everything keeps falling apart.
Like, they were literally handing him the WrestleMania. He was gonna win Chamber, like that was just gonna happen, and then he was gonna wrestle WrestleMania, and now it's not happening, which really does suck. It really does.
So were you upset watching the it was upsetting.
Well, I was just upset because as a fan, it's just like upsetting because I would be lying if I said I'm definitely not as excited for WrestleMania as I was with him there. I was more excited to watch him than I was the Roman match.
So
Way
what
more.
happened when you were watching from your better seats, CM Punk versus Cody? Who were you rooting for?
I don't know. I've been rooting for Punk since he came back to win everything. I wanted to win everything. I told you I didn't watch AEW when I tell you not even one day, like not one day at all. I just wasn't into it. I tried and I just was not into it. I didn't watch any of it when Cody was there.
Till Punk was there.
And then once I heard the rumors that Punk was going to be there, I turned on Dynamite for the first time ever when they still technically was a rumor, but they ended up kicking off the show and he came out. That was the first day I ever watched Dynamite. And I watched it like basically every week ever since he was there. And I defended him through all the stuff he did because I just like Punk and I thought he was right with all the people that were there. So but obviously, like I told you, I was always on the side of him. I just wanted him to be back in WWE because the return didn't feel the same. Like it never felt the same as him returning to WWE. So when he finally came back, I was like, all right, now I got him back, and I want to see him in person. Luckily, I got to see his first match in Madison Square Garden. You got to see him in LA, and then we were both in attendance for his first real match back, and now he's injured. So I was upset to see him. I was upset to see him lose. I didn't even get up. I was shocked. I thought he was winning. I
Well,
just thought there was no way. I thought there was.
as you saw by my Instagram story today, and as you commented, there were many posts. I went on X, and it was from the Dave Meltzers on down, and people were saying that even though Collision had like a couple thousand people in attendance, that audience sounded more pumped than the
Yeah.
rest of the
Yeah,
audience.
it was weird. I've seen
Weird.
a lot on Twitter that the crowd was dead in Tampa, and we were there, and I would say it probably was. I mean, in my head, it was basically like they were hot for the women's match. The women's actually were loud the whole time, and they were pointing. They're Bailey. They were super loud. They loved it. Jade Cargill got a huge pop. Everybody, Liv, everyone. And then the Roman match was kind of a little dead. I thought the crowd was a little dead for that match. No one really got
They
hyped
were
at all for that
really
one.
dead for the Roman Reigns
Then the
match.
Logan match, I thought they were loud. They were louder for that one than they
They
were
were
for the Roman
louder for
match.
that. But here's the thing.
And then we see the men's rumble. I just think towards that point, everyone was a little upset that we got no big returns, and it was just Cody and Punk again. And that's just they were just like I think the crowd was just like, all right, I don't care who wins. It's not that big a deal.
So one of the things that was commented on was the fact that when the music hit in the Royal Rumbles, there were so many unrecognized, like it's amazing because I remember I was with that female reporter, very nice, who I met from Philadelphia, and we both were standing up every time somebody came out for the Rumble. But
Yeah,
the music would hit, and we'd be like completely
you have to
confused.
look at the screen because you don't know
Oh,
who it
I
is.
couldn't even see that. I had to turn around and look at the
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
But the point is, nobody recognized the theme music. So
yeah.
that was part of the reason people were
It's
like, oh, who,
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree, and it's really bad. Like big reporters tweet about it, and they say like they can't believe how unrecognizable some of these themes are. They all sound the same.
unrecognizable, unrecognizable. And then the graphics came on, right?
Yeah,
I literally, because I could not see, I had to turn around to the bigger screen at Tropicana
yeah,
Field. But I wasn't the only one doing that. The people next to me, the people behind me, and we were all talking, and they were all great and really into it. But nobody, we were all like, "Who's this? Who's this? What is
yeah.
this?" And then that was the flow of it for both the men's and the women's Royal
Yeah,
Rumble.
it's more of like you wait till the name pops up, but that's not what it should be. It should be like once the music hits, you know who it is, and you're gonna freak out or you don't care.
There's a sameness also in the themes they choose, and they need to change it up.
No,
That's
it's just like it's all like hip hop generic beats. That's literally what they all are. That's what it
or
sounds
heavy
like.
metal or
Yeah,
heavy
that's it. It just sounds like the beats that they give you like for free on Apple Music. That's
like
like
a
literally
free yeah, like a
that's literally
beat.
what it sounds like. It sounds like
Yeah.
the generic like the royalty free music that you can choose.
Well, it probably
The
is
only
that.
songs that are really good or are notable are the ones that are like people that get them from like they're like Cody has that
Like
band that
music licensing, unlicensed
yeah.
music. Yeah,
Yeah. Other than that, like I can't. I mean, Roman has a good one, but it's because they actually, I guess, care for that one.
I agree.
But other than that, I can't really think of anybody new that has a good theme other than Breaker. But it's just a siren. But I just know the siren, so that's why I know it.
No,
Other
I
than
mean,
that,
that's why. So you got Cody's, you got Seth, you got Punk,
you got
you've got
Sammy,
Gunther, you've got Sammy,
you got
you've got
Drew.
Drew, and you've
Yeah,
got Rome. Did I say Roman? Um,
no,
like them.
yeah,
They're the biggest ones. All the others, I don't know what's going on.
And like even Andrade who came back, the only reason I knew who he was because it says El Idolo to start the thing. But then after that, it's just a generic beat. It's still a generic beat. They also changed Carlito's theme song, which makes
Music
no sense.
department, let's get with it. Like that's kind of what I wanted to say
I
because
just think they should go back. They should rehire because they let go of the guy Jim Johnston who made all the crazy theme
it
songs.
was really great.
But I'm thinking they should try to bring him back because he still makes music. So I mean, they probably could ask him to come back. I just don't know why.
And so
Honestly, when you think about it, what they were saying on Twitter, he's probably cheap. It's probably so much cheaper to make those terrible songs.
music licensing, because I write songs and I do music,
Yeah,
and music business too. It is paying royalties and licensing fees
and I know it's tricky to like
is
get the
tricky.
royalties and stuff.
It's
Yeah,
tricky. The licensing.
and it
Um,
seems like AW just buys every single song they
it's
can
like
because
Tony Khan will pay. Like that's gonna help everything. Um, I do want to talk to you before we move on, before I forget, because I have a lot to talk about Raw. We never got to talk about because we went live after we
Mhm.
got back from Tropicana Field 10 hours later. And we got back, and meanwhile, the press conference was going on that we
Yeah,
were not at, and they were asking about the Vince McMahon situation to Triple H.
which I was very surprised about.
And there were multiple questions by reporters given to him.
Mhm.
And yet he was very knocked in the press for giving these non-answers that you would expect him to do.
Yeah,
What they were basically saying, though, is what the hell? This is your father-in-law. You're
yeah,
married to his daughter. You
yeah.
don't know really what was in the court document. You don't know. And I wondered what you thought of that, because I thought that was very obvious. You know,
I it's just that I'm not one of those people that's gonna go in there expecting him. I wasn't
I
expecting
was like,
him.
no, I was expecting, I wouldn't even have asked it.
Not even that. Like, yeah, I guess you can ask it. I mean, it's you're allowed to if they wanted, and what I'm very happy about is that they allowed the questions because if it was a real press conference, you can ask whatever
Oh,
you want.
and they would have
Like,
been skewering him.
imagine an NFL press conference. You can ask whatever you want. So I'm glad that WWE doesn't go in there and say, "Hey, just before we go live, you can't ask
Yeah,
questions
don't say
about this."
that. Yeah,
Whatever. They let them ask the question, and they asked Cody, which I thought he gave a great answer because he's first of all he's talent. So, and what the main thing that I think there was a couple other people who also said it. They found out just like us, just like we did. They literally saw it on Twitter, and that's how they found out. But I don't think that's the same thing for Triple H. I think he knew, but once again, like he said, he doesn't know that much, and he's not gonna focus on it right now. He wants to focus on the talent and what happened. And I get it because I'm not
I
expecting him
get it.
to talk about that when Royal Rumble just happened and you have a two-time Royal Rumble winner because it takes away from the wrestlers that just
I agree.
wrestled their hearts out.
I
But
agree.
I like for example today people are really mad at the Bellas because I don't know if you saw that the Bellas made their first statement about it because I don't know if you know that their stepdad is John Laurinaitis.
Yes, I knew that. Yes, I
So
didn't.
John Laurinaitis married their mom like 10 years ago,
Correct.
which was during the time that this was going on.
Correct.
So obviously it's a pretty big deal. They made their first post and they didn't even name him. They said like we are very saddened to learn about the information that came out about the WWE members that are involved. So everyone's mad saying WWE members like he married your mother and you're saying WWE members like really like you don't
Well,
care.
yeah.
So it's very weird to see a lot of these I guess
I guess
WWE like lifers like kind of already like feel like they're just defending the company, which is just kind of weird.
I think they're in a really weird position, actually, because there was an article in Deadline about how the stocks fell
Hmm.
and how the things are things may be coming unglued a bit with losing sponsors and whatnot. Now I know the Slim Jim story, as long as Vince was gone, they were back in.
Which is what's funny, it really is crazy that it just shows you how big money is and merchandise is because
Oh, yeah,
they pulled out right away on Friday. They pulled out no Thursday. And then Friday Vince
they're back in.
resigns and then the next day they said all right, we're okay with it.
It's a
It really
really interesting time. I mean, it's really weird. Like it should be like this is the most transformative period in WWE history, especially with the Netflix deal and
yeah.
all the heat on this. Everybody,
Which
all
I
the
mean, which is why I think it
but
is
but now they've got another problem.
But I definitely think people need to know that it really is not, really doesn't have anything to do with anybody who's in charge right now. That
Right.
like then that's why I think the talent is, because you would have thought, oh, the talent's gonna be pissed and they're not gonna show up and all that stuff, but it has nothing to do with them. They must just feel bad for the people that had to deal with it for the 30, 50 years he was running the show. You know what I mean? He was in charge for that long, and I wonder what else he did. And it really, and you know what sucks? I'll be honest, it really is sad to see. I mean, I think there's more people involved that we're probably gonna get figure out about, which is kind of scary because it might be people that we love.
That's what
You know
I'm
what I
afraid.
mean?
Yeah.
But the person that we do know only of right now is Brock Lesnar, and it really does suck to see that because people are saying today Brian Alvarez reported that we might never see him again, and that sucks because like I mean he never got his but it really does suck to see that if he really was that involved, that he's not a good guy, and I don't think any of us really
I
expected
mean,
that.
the whole situation is horrible, period. Um, I think I don't know. I don't want to
And
weigh in.
it just proves to you. I mean, I don't know if you remember that report that when Vince was let go or when Vince was told to retire and Lesnar reportedly left the arena because of how close he was to him. I mean, now look at it. I mean, obviously they were that close. So I mean, it kind of sucks that he's a part of that. And
Yeah,
now
it's a
they had
whole.
plans. They had plans for him to fight Gunther at Mania, and now they're scrapped.
I mean,
And
It's a horrible. The accusations are horrible.
yeah, it's
I
gross.
don't know. It's gross, and unless she's completely, make because Vince said he's gonna defend himself
They're
vigorously.
saying it never. They're saying the messages never happened, which I don't. I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
really crazy.
I just think the whole timing of all this is just incredible. Like they're riding a high and then this comes up.
Which is the only reason it's just weird that like the day after that deal, that's when it comes out. It's just crazy.
So back on tonight's Raw. So we first talked about how great Punk was. Then Cody comes out. And I actually thought he was great. I thought like he was, doing, he was oh, he plays into that. Like he can cry on
Yeah.
cue. He's really good at that. And the point I'm making with this is that they were saying that the face of the company going into this with everything that's happening with Vince has to be Cody.
Yeah.
You need a fresh face, baby face, beloved, blonde haired, blue eyed, kids love him. Guy has got to be the flagship of the company.
And it really is crazy.
Turmoil of Vince McMahon being a sexual deviant or whatever
Yeah.
you want to say.
And it's crazy to see like they were talking about on Twitter today, the fact that he's because someone made a comment that he replied to and was like, "Oh, just wait till people are tired of Cody and the boos start coming in." And he tweeted and responded and was like, I've been waiting for that for 2 years, and it's obviously not happening." I mean,
Cody said that.
yeah, Cody replied and said that. I mean, when was the last time we saw a guy come in from a company that he started, right? Whatever, was never really that popular in WWE. Like, no one liked him, and he literally has not gotten a single boo in the last 2 years. He's still that over. When he won, the crowd erupted, like literally erupted,
Most of
which
the
is
people, which is interesting in what you were saying. I want to just go back to this point.
yeah,
Where I was sitting, the was Cody land. You were in
yeah,
Punk land. I was, even though Punk's friend was in the
yeah.
next, it was Cody. I heard more Cody chants.
Once, I mean, I guess we could talk about it a little bit. Once you told me that Punk's friend got flew in and he wanted her to be there, I was like, all right, Punk is winning this thing. I was like, there's no way. You know what I mean? Because I was like,
No, I was like, oh, this
yeah,
is great. I was so
yeah.
excited. I was like, and I said to her, I said, oh, aren't you excited? She goes, oh God. But she played it. She said,
Well, she might have not known anything
you
either.
may
So
not know. She was
yeah,
basically like, oh, I hope he wins. He's been such a great guy
yeah,
to me and my family. I mean, she was very, and she was with another person friend, and she really told me that he's just a great guy and took care of her and made it possible for them to come in from Chicago.
yeah.
And so I'm
No,
like, I was feel bad that he lost and
then
ruptured his
like
arm.
like you said, like when Cody comes out and is beloved, the crowd goes crazy, and then before he gets to say a word, basically Rollins comes out, and I wasn't expecting that at all. And then for whoever watched it and whoever didn't, we get this 15-minute promo from just Rollins, just basically saying and putting over his championship. He was awesome and he was great.
The best, the best. I just want to say, I literally sat here going like this, you know. I mean, Seth, it was an amazing promo.
Yeah.
It went on for minutes and minutes. He never broke from it. It's a lot to remember and say or whatever he did, but it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest, when he started the promo, I was like, and I knew what he was doing. I was like, yeah, no, I don't really agree. I think he has to go after Roman. And then just the more he talked and the more he talked, I was like, you know what? That's not the worst thing. He's not wrong. Like everything he said wasn't wrong. Like it is true. Like think about the last 6 months. WWE has been the hottest it's ever been, and Roman hasn't been on the show. So like obviously you do need Roman, but when he says we don't need him anyway, I mean he's not wrong. Like he really isn't. And I'll tell you right now, this was definitely not in the car in the plans until Punk got hurt. I personally think this thing they're doing right now is when Cody says I'll think about it. I think that's more of let's see if the crowd really if the fans are interested and they want it or not because we still have a lot of time left because they don't have to decide this right now. But if WWE can get the crowd behind Rollins and Cody, and that's Cody finishing his story and Roman and Rock, that's the best case scenario for them because they don't. I personally Drew and Sammy against Rollins isn't big enough for WrestleMania. It's just not. And I know they wanted Punk, and that really sucks that he's not going to be involved. So other than that, I think you have to go Cody Punk if that's
Unless
what the
unless Punk screws somebody
yeah,
over.
unless he somehow comes back. But if he doesn't, I personally think that has to be the move. And you know what? And you let Roman
Would you feel okay knowing that he finished the story with Rollins and not Roman Reigns?
it's just I mean I definitely get that I don't even think it's more of Rollins and Roman Reigns. I think it's more of the title. Because at the end of the day, that's not the WWE Championship. It's the World Heavyweight
But
Championship.
the
So
way Seth Rollins said it all,
no, it was great.
perfect. Like, do
Yeah.
you want the Hollywood title
Yeah,
or
the
do
one
you
that
want
goes away
this
every single
title?
once in a
Right.
while. Yeah.
Yeah. And like everything he said was right to
Yeah.
me.
No, I mean that's why I think what Cody's saying he's gonna think about it. I don't know what they're gonna do. So my thing is that if they're doing this storyline, I guess they're not doing a number one contenders match at Elimination Chamber for Rollins. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't see
My other
Drew.
question, yeah, now what I wanted to ask you coming out of tonight, who the hell's going to wrestle at Elimination Chamber?
I have no idea.
Who, other than Rhea Ripley, probably going against Nia Jax?
Yeah, she's gonna go with Nia Jax.
Okay, so that's the headliner, and then what? What are the guys doing?
I I I have no
Seth
idea.
can't wrestle.
Seth won't be there.
Roman's not going. Punk is injured,
Yeah,
so Cody's going to go, right?
I guess, but he doesn't have to fight anybody. He has nothing to fight
But
for.
I'm just saying, like,
I mean,
who's
I think honestly, I'm not even kidding. I'm obviously he's gonna. I mean, I would assume he's gonna fight maybe, but if I'm WWE, I'm keeping Rhodes
I
Cody.
would get all of them
No,
out of there to
all the
wrestle
big people
again.
should not be wrestling. Like
Not
you're
another man.
already right now. I don't know if you saw Kevin Owens is also injured.
Right, he wrestled with a fractured foot.
Yeah, like he'll be back, but still, that's another guy who won't be wrestling for a little bit. So I don't know. I would assume off the top of my head, you might have a. I think you should have a number one contenders match for Gunther in an elimination chamber. That's probably what you can go do. I think it could be like a bunch of the mid card guys like Jay because I think they're trying to set up Jay. I think you have Braun Breaker in there. A couple NXT guys for the IC championship, and then maybe you have a a US just championship in the elimination chamber. You have Logan Paul fight in the chamber with everybody.
Maybe because
Yeah,
he needs to be there. Yeah, I couldn't figure out, and I was with you. I'm like, please don't put Cody in this. Because what if
yeah.
he gets hurt?
No, I would not have Cody fight until Mania. You can't. You just can't risk it.
Then we had the Bailey thing. So Bailey
Mhm.
comes out, and of course, Nia Jax interrupts it, and she's touting how great damage control is, and she's going to make her decision on SmackDown.
She's gonna fight EO, which I think is gonna be
Unified
great.
EO. And so at that point, that's that when it all falls apart.
Yeah, I think she's gonna. I just want babyface Bailey again. I mean, she's awesome. I mean, she just we were there. The crowd absolutely
I
erupted.
cannot tell you. Again, I'm going on my section. The guys behind me were loving Bailey. The people
Hmm.
next to me wanted Bailey. People in front of me wanted Bailey. And uh not Tegan Knox, Ivy, what's her
Niall.
mother was in front of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ivy Niles' mom and her friends were there and
Who we saw at the
they
media
wanted
event.
Bailey.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody
I
wanted Bailey.
thought I was definitely surprised. I thought Bailey was always the favorite, but I was surprised that she came out at 7. So I was like, oh, maybe she's not. It's a little early. But what I'm gonna
60
say is that
seconds, right?
I definitely I'm very interested to see what they're gonna go with for Rhea Ripley at Mania because she's gonna fight Nia Jax at the Chamber and
Becky.
then she'll win. But I don't know. A part of me thinks that I don't know if like I personally think that I wouldn't mind if it was Liv either because I think Liv has a better story. I mean, Rhea was the one who injured her, and because then what do you do with these
That
other
makes
girls?
more sense. I was
Yeah,
just gonna say the one thing I don't know if you saw, but Becky's book is about to come out. There's a big
yeah,
interview
yeah,
on Thursday.
yeah. I saw that.
Is interviewing Becky, and then they announced like 6 bookstore dates for Becky in New York and actually here in LA in the Grove near me
Yeah,
to promote her book. So I'm wondering, like, is that part of this? Like, does she has a book, or is
yeah.
that even going to be part of it? Because I don't know where she goes. And then she said tonight she's going to be nastier. So I'm like, is she now going to be a heel? Like, what's the
What I
deal?
was thinking is maybe they have at Chamber a number one contenders match for whoever wins Rhea or Nia Jax. So like for Mania, which wouldn't be bad. Like they have Liv, Becky, a couple of the new like Jade comes in and fights. I mean, I'm definitely the one
Jade
thing
is
I was gonna say and bring up was I wonder, do you think we're gonna get Jade at Mania? Like, do you think she's gonna come? Do you think is she just gone or is she gonna fight? Because it was weird to see her at the Rumble and then just not even mentioned today.
I feel like Jade's coming to SmackDown so she could be with Bianca on the same show
People are saying they want to see them as
as
a
a
tag team
tag
to start.
team. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's smart. And then maybe
And then they can break them up.
maybe we can finally get our heel Bianca run and she turns on Jade. You know what I mean? That's what I think
Or
she
the
would be
other,
fun.
or one or the other. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to turn her heel right now because her show,
yeah,
Bianca and Montez,
yeah,
is premiering on Friday on Hulu. And I feel like she's kind of the Cody Rhodes of the women's division,
yeah.
right?
She's a powerhouse, and it was awesome to see their stare
She's
down.
amazing. I
Yeah,
mean,
and I gotta say, I mean, I thought Jade looked great. She looked fluid. She looked amazing, and um, I
and
think after today with seeing Andrade going to Raw, which I was really surprised about. I thought Andrade was going to SmackDown.
he said, "Say hi to my wife."
No, it was said Zelina.
Oh, I thought he said was something about Charlotte.
No, he said Zelina because they used to be together. Like that was his manager.
Oh, I thought he said something about Charlotte. And where is Charlotte? Isn't she injured
Well,
too?
she's out for like 9 months, so she's
Yeah,
gonna be out.
she's
So I think then that's why they said because they like to do like the people that are actually together on the same show because they travel together. But she's hurt, so they said they had no rush to put him on SmackDown because she's not gonna be there anyway. And people are saying they want to see him go against Gunther for the IC championship, which I would not mind. Um, so he's going to Raw, and then we get a call from Breaker that so if he's
going
going
to
to SmackDown,
SmackDown.
that's why I think me personally, I know you should think about Jade, but if SmackDown is getting Naomi because Jimmy's there, that's her husband, that might mean Bianca's going to. I mean, Jade is going to Raw
I
because
was thinking
then
that too. Then you've got Jade and
yeah,
Bianca against each other,
yeah. So
which is
I think those are gonna be the two that they go. I heard Naomi's already planned for Friday, so she'll be
and
there.
then they announced Bailey's and who and Logan. Wait, did they announce Logan Paul?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I think yeah, I think they said he'll be there.
Is he on SmackDown?
Yeah, he's a U.S. champion.
But is he floating on both shows?
I think he's just SmackDown.
Not just SmackDown.
Yeah. And the one thing I'll say about Raw that I like the little beef that the GMs have. It makes it like feel more important. like
which
Aldis
is
and
good.
Pierce.
And I also, on that note, I literally thought Nick Aldis was going to be in the Royal Rumble. That's a surprise.
That would have been cool,
That
yeah.
didn't even happen.
People are saying that don't be surprised if you get a Pierce versus Aldis match at some point because they both still wrestle.
I could see that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see that maybe at WrestleMania or something.
Yeah,
Cole
just like a fun
somebody. No, it's they wrestle for the contract of
oh
somebody.
somebody. Yeah, that'd be cool. It would be smart. I think
That's
it'd be
what they
fun.
should do. That's what they should do. I don't know.
And then we didn't talk about what started the show with Pat McAfee being back. I was shocked. I can't believe he's back.
But I was football season's over.
Yeah, I
So,
guess that's true.
I guess
Yeah.
that's why. But honestly, don't kill me. I really don't like him there. Like,
I'm
why
the opposite. I'm the opposite.
you love him?
I think he's absolutely amazing. He makes the show so much better. I think he's hilarious.
Okay.
And I think that it was much needed. I mean, he's way better than that guy Kevin Patrick, whoever the
Kevin
hell it was.
Patrick was fired,
He
right?
got fired. I can't believe
It was
that.
terrible. I believe me, McAfee's a big improvement. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. But the other guy was terrible. So Corey Graves and Michael Cole are doing SmackDown.
I think they're gonna have Barrett and Graves on SmackDown.
Okay.
And then Corey and then
Cool.
Cole and McAfee on Raw. I
So
when he came out, I was like, oh, he must still be in Tampa, and then he's gonna.
that's what I thought.
But you know what's funny? He did his show today from his headquarters, which is in Indianapolis. So he means he flew to Indianapolis and flew back to Tampa.
Must have. But I
Yeah,
was like, okay, obviously football season is
yeah.
over.
I think for the 3 4 months he has like no requirements to be anywhere. So I guess that's why he's doing it.
Um, I know. I thought that was surprising. I had no
The
idea.
one thing about Pat that I will say I was very upset about, I thought that the spot in the Rumble was just not fair to somebody because I think if even if you had somebody that back there that has never been in a Rumble and he did the same thing, it's just better than Pat McAfee doing it. You know what I mean? I just thought it was a waste of a spot.
It was a waste of a spot.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, what the hell is supposed to happen with Money in the Bank and Damian Priest? Is that just forgotten about?
I don't know.
Does that just get run out? Like, what do you do?
Because think about it, he's not going to do anything with it until after Mania, right? So
Is it? Or does he come in and take Seth's belt?
no, it's not. They're not going to mess with anything until Mania, until after Mania. And then think about it, after Mania, you have what is it? That's like March. That's April, and then I think May is Backlash, just like last year, which is in London. It's in the European
Berlin,
country.
right?
No, that's Bash at Berlin. That's in June.
Are we
I
going
don't
to
remember.
that?
In the summer, May there's back to back it's WrestleMania and then it's back to pay-per-views in Europe.
I wanted to talk about just for the viewers about what it was like. So our weekend at Tampa St. Petersburg. So on Friday there was the media event
Yeah.
where all the media comes and it's kind of a little free for all to try to interview the different WWE superstars that they make available. Well, what did you think of that, and who is your favorite person to talk to? Let me guess.
I thought it was
I think it was
I
a
was definitely
girl named.
um I thought it was fun. Obviously, I think we got 5 interviews, which I thought was good. We had a few technical difficulties because it was very loud in that room. Like I've been to 4 now. This was his second one that he's done with WWE, and that was the most hectic one I've ever been to. Like way worse than WrestleMania. It was a lot of people there. A lot more people than I thought was going to be there personally. Um,
And
you
remember,
know, we
you
always
told
do,
me it wasn't like that at Backlash. Remember?
and SummerSlam. SummerSlam was the best one they ever had. I mean,
That was
SummerSlam,
the
I
one,
can say
right?
half of that, half of those people were there. So it was a lot easier. But we still managed to get 5. We didn't get a few of the bigger ones like Kofi that we wanted. He got ripped away from us. He was right here, and they ripped him away from us. Fox Sports, I'll never forgive you.
And we had everything confiscated by Natalia. But other than that,
And it ended up being number 1 entrant, which I thought was hilarious. I gotta say, my favorite one was Maxine because she remembered me, and
what'd she say?
that was the highlight of my
What'd she
weekend.
say?
I said, "Oh, I before I even got to say anything, she goes, "Oh my God, nice to see you again." and then we had our
And it's
3 minute
love. It's
and
love.
our 3 minute talk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I walked away.
Yes,
But it was good.
Maxine and LJ had a good conversation. I talked to her and I think she was like, could you bring LJ back? So that's what was going on in my conversation with her. But we did have a really good interview with Gunther, and the questions are really good. And but the audio is not good.
Yeah.
And I should write it up as on my website as like a print interview,
Hmm.
and then we'll still try to put it on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
think
great.
our interview, I got a few good clips from our Otis interview, which was pretty funny. He got a few good ones. Um, yeah,
Shayna, the
Shayna
one,
was good. Shayna was good, and then Tozawa was funny. He started doing his dance that
oh,
he
it was
does.
funny. Yeah. But it is what I want to just tell people is like it is difficult in the WD press junkets because you're competing with big outlets like
Huge
Fox
album.
was there.
I mean, think about it, right? I mean, for
I'm
whoever's
even talking
listening,
about local news, Fox, and not
right
even
next to us, we're literally sharing our spot was WWE 2K. So I mean, think about who we're, so it's pretty at the end of the day, I do think it's pretty cool. The one thing I'll say that I think is very cool is that WWE allows the people from all different types of how big you are to be there. You know what I mean? Because most companies would just want the big people because then what do they get out of letting lower organizations and accounts go there? But then you have people that are there like us that aren't that popular. Then you have people that are even lower than us, and then you have
well,
Fox
I
Sports.
wouldn't say we're not that popular. I would just say they are not aware of
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's not the popular. I think if they were more aware,
yeah,
then maybe their chance to be popular.
yeah,
So, that's the thing. It's a
yeah.
hard thing. I mean, I went through this very same thing when I started in soap operas. There
Hmm.
were 13 shows, and, nobody knew who I was.
Hmm.
Now, through time, they know who I
Yeah,
am.
and it's definitely cool. The one thing I'll say about these events is that it's definitely cool to go there and like for me personally, because I've been there. This is my fourth one. I'm seeing the same people and like I'm starting to see these people again and you talk to them a little bit. It's definitely
Right.
cool, running into them. I ended up seeing so there was a kid there where I was doing reporting, and he actually popped up on my Instagram today. I saw him,
A
the
kid,
wrestling
like
kid.
a young man.
Remember the wrestling kid that was there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he popped up on my Instagram today, so I thought it was pretty fun. I saw his interviews that he was doing, which was pretty cool.
Is he, is he just a little kid or is he
Oh
at
yeah,
a,
he's just a kid. He's just a little kid that does interviews.
oh gosh, if we were little kids, we would get interviews too. That's what I have to say. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I think we need to go to sleep.
I've been in 3 states
Mortal Road in the immortal words of CM Punk.
I've been in 3 states in 4 days basically. So I'm exhausted. And I have school tomorrow at 10 a.m. So that's the life of a college kid.
Does your school know you're a big WWE fan?
I get maybe. I don't even know. My job does because I had to say I couldn't go to work for 4 days, 5 days, but I uh I have to get my schoolwork done now.
Yeah. So I guess
But
the
our
next,
next one will be Mania, I'm guessing.
well, we're
In
not going
Philly.
to Australia.
No, it's not in the cards, as CM Punk
Not in
would
the
say.
cards this time, and I think we should save it for Mania.
Yeah, yeah. I think
You'll be close to Mania.
I'm gonna be driving an hour and a half away, and I'll be there. So
You'll
no
be
flying
there.
for me.
I think the next few weeks will be really, really interesting, and I'm hoping SmackDown. I heard Reigns is going to be on.
Yeah. So maybe they're setting up Rock Roman. We'll see.
Do you think it's so? You're going with Rock, Roman, Cody, Seth.
I just think you have to, even if the fans aren't that into it. I feel like that's the best way to go because I don't know if you can go. One, I don't want to watch Rock Roman next year. I don't want to wait a year to watch it. I also don't want it at SummerSlam. I want it at WrestleMania
Why
40.
does The Rock keep saying it's got to be big and it's got to be big and the biggest platform? Because I'm thinking Netflix. He wants it bigger, more global, more
Yeah,
global.
yeah. Which maybe they'll do it
And
in
then
Saudi Arabia.
now that he owns the company, he's a part of TKO. Will he actually hold the title for a while?
I don't know. I just think that I mean, if let's say they do Rock Roman on night two of WrestleMania, how do you can't have Rock win? You just can't. And my thing is that if Roman wins again, it's like when does he lose it? And
How
who?
much longer can we watch people interfere? Like, fuck,
Yeah.
wrestle a
But
match.
that's the one thing that it's not the title reign that I'm tired of. It's how do you have this humongous champion that's this powerful, but then he doesn't win clean ever? It's just it's
And he
annoying.
needs everybody else to interfere.
Yeah. But that's my main problem with it.
Well, I just think Punk, Cody, and Seth are really great. I mean, any young wrestler should watch how they do their
Yeah,
in-ring.
I
Last thing
agree.
I want to say, MJF made a statement I saw on his Facebook page saying that we're going to know soon what he's doing.
I didn't see that, so I mean that's very interesting.
Yeah, I saw it. I wonder if I can,
He's gonna be back at AEW, so it's all right.
but I just thought the timing was, yeah, here it is. Now there's all this crap here, so I can't. Oh, I won't. 2 days ago, he said, I won't confirm or deny any rumors. Patience, it is almost time. That is on his face. I follow him on Facebook.
If he's for some reason,
I won't confirm or deny any rumors. Patience, it is almost time. And that was 2 days ago, the night of the Rumble.
if he
And
for, is for some, if he's for some reason not signed to AEW, and now that Punk's injured, I think should go after him. But if he is not, if he is signed, then it's not that big a deal.
but then he posted yesterday, I'm the one with the unfinished story. Everyone has one, and a photo of him and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, so maybe he's trolling.
All right, guys. Well, thanks everybody for hanging
We'll,
out tonight.
we'll see what happens on SmackDown.
We'll see what happens on SmackDown. Have a good week in school. And I just want to say I've never been so exhausted in my life.
All I'm gonna
This
say to end the show is shout out True Hotel in Tampa.
shout out True Hotel, Tampa.
Michael's
No,
gonna buy
not
a
Tampa, St. Petersburg.
Michael's gonna buy a lifetime subscription to that hotel.
St. Petersburg, True Hotel. Yeah. And thank you for that conference room, True Hotel. Not the rooms, but that conference room.
I'm surprised you didn't sleep there that night.
I can't believe I even did. So it's amazing what a Benadryl will do to knock yourself out so you're not aware of what you're doing
I
and
mean, that's the way to do
how
it.
you're
Yeah,
suffocating.
guys, we're gonna eat a Benadryl. He
How
took a
you're
Benadryl.
suffocating in the dust
He
and the
took
cat
a Benadryl that he bought from some guy outside.
I bought. Amazing. Everything looked better.
A fake Benadryl, an
A fake,
expired Benadryl.
they're selling fake Benadryl on the streets of St. Petersburg.
And he tried to take it inside and asked us if it was okay to take it inside.
Yeah. The funniest thing was our conversation on the way to St. To Tropicana. I'm like, can I take this pill inside?
You ended up taking it inside?
Huh?
Did you end up throwing it out or you took it inside?
I brought inside. They didn't even question me. And so
Yeah,
we're talking about prescriptions here.
yeah.
Not
Not the
prescriptions,
ones we take.
not the ones all of you people take. No, I took a Benadryl at the True Hotel.
Yeah.
It really didn't help. It was still it's to breathe.
It'll
Okay.
work at least.
All right. I guess Royal Rumble 2024 out.
Yeah. Weekend is over.
Weekend is over.
Time to go back to school.
Time to go back to our lives. All right. Bye, Louise. Talk to you soon.